loves, welcome back to another Wellness Wednesday. Today's video is going to be pretty short. It's not going to be a very long one. We are just going to bake some pumpkin air fryer donut holes. So obviously the first great thing about these is that they're made in the air fryer, so there's going to be less calories because you're not going to be making them in oil. Do they really taste like donuts? Not really. It's kind of like a donut muffin, and I will leave the recipe that I found down below. The only difference that I have made in this recipe is that I use the monk fruit sweetener instead. In the footage that you're going to see, I still use regular brown sugar because I did film this footage a few weeks ago before I had the monk fruit brown sugar. I made them today with the monk fruit brown sugar and the monk fruit white sugar, and they were just as good. And you can make these even more low calorie if you get your hands on the monk fruit powdered sugar, but I have not gotten it yet, so I just used regular powdered sugar. And honestly, I'm probably guesstimating over on the calories because it's just so hard to figure out how much of that glaze is on each donut. I only dip the top half of the donuts in the glaze. It really just depends on how you make them. I bet you could cut the butter back. I bet you could use a different flour. If any of you guys have any flour substitutes that you really enjoy, I would love to know. I did try making pumpkin cinnamon rolls without looping flour and it did not go very well. So if you guys know of any other great flour substitutes, preferably with less calories and maybe a higher protein, that's what I'm hoping for, do let me know. I need to just try almond flour. I've honestly never really read the calories on almond flour or anything, so I don't know what the calories are like. I'm pretty sure I've heard that it's pretty similar, but I don't know. Anyway, so in this video, you're going to see me make it with regular brown sugar, but of course, like I stated before, you can definitely make it with the golden sugar from monk fruit, and it's going to save you a few more calories. I figured out the calorie count on these for making them with the monk fruit. So if you make them with regular sugar, it is going to be a slightly higher calorie count. Well, probably a decently higher calorie count because there's a lot of calories in sugar, but don't fret. They're made in the air fryer, so it's going to help you on the calorie count as well. But I feel like with holidays, we need to be able to not be so scared. Like, I feel like I always get scared when it comes to holiday time, and I'm just like, I want to eat all things. Eggnog frappuccinos at Starbucks are always danger. I'm already in danger with the pumpkin spice lattes. Oh my gosh. If you guys watched my thrift with me video, you saw how excited I was about that caramel pumpkin spice Americano. There's nothing better. But I'm going to let myself have them every once in a while and just work it into my calorie count because I gotta live. The whole thing about what I'm doing is that I am just making some changes, quite a few changes, but I'm still letting myself live. And you know what? Just make the donut holes smaller, or don't eat as many of them, or section it out, or half the recipe. So whatever's going to make you feel successful, whatever's going to make you happy, or just let yourself eat the donut holes and start again tomorrow, You got to be able to live. I look forward to fall all year, and if I wasn't able to have pumpkin donuts, I would be a sad panda. I literally look forward every year going to Harvest House here. I live in Spokane, Washington. For those of you that don't know, there's Harvest House and they have pumpkin donuts and they are so good. So as soon as it started getting like to fall time where all the fall stuff was out, I was like, I really want to make pumpkin donuts. And then I was like, oh, I bet I can make them in the air fryer. You can make anything in an air fryer. Just hit Google. Google will help you out. There are recipes for everything. So anyway, I am rambling. I hope you guys are doing well. Please feel free to leave your check-in down below. I hope you guys are doing well. If you want to talk about something you're struggling with or something you're excited about, please leave it down below. Yeah, and if you guys have any awesome recipes for me, any like holiday baked goods or anything, like I really do enjoy this monk fruit sweetener, and a lot of people do bake with it. So impressed with the monk fruit. I'm seriously obsessed because I love baking. Anyway, loves, I have rambled for far too long, so I am going to end this here, but we're going to jump into the recipe. Alright, loves, we're finally going to get to the part that you guys are all here for. You're going to put in 2 cups of all-purpose flour or whatever flour substitute you would like to use. Then we're going to move on to sugar. I'm going to use the monk fruit sweetener, the regular classic sugar substitute. You're just going to put a 1/3 cup of whatever sugar of your choice in there. Next, we're going to move on to brown sugar. Again, I have used the golden sugar from monk fruit sweetener in its place, and it tastes just as good to me. I honestly can't tell the difference. So whatever you choose to use for brown sugar, just put 2 tablespoons in. And yes, all of my measuring spoons and measuring cups are either pink or heart-shaped, I swear. Next, we're going to move on to baking powder. You're going to need 1.5 tablespoons of that. Next, we're going to add in cinnamon. Honestly, most of the time when I bake, I don't even measure, but I believe I put in a teaspoon of cinnamon. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And then we're going to also add some pumpkin pie spice, and I put in 2 teaspoons of that as well. In the recipe, it has all of the all of the seasonings, all separate, like cloves, nutmeg, etc. separate, but I put in just the pumpkin pie seasoning. And now we're gonna add the butter. You're gonna need 6 tablespoons of butter. It can be cold, and you just chop it up into little bits, and now you're just gonna kind of knead it in until it becomes a crumbly texture. I did forget to add the salt, but you'll see me remember in a few minutes that I forgot the salt. So I do add the salt. You do add, do you love this awkwardness while I'm reading this recipe in front of me? A ½ teaspoon of salt. All right, now I am making the second mixture. So you do all your dry ingredients with the butter together, and then you're gonna put a 1/4 cup of pure pumpkin puree in a bowl. And then you're gonna add 1 egg. Today I made it with egg beater, so that cut the calories even more. And again, no difference to me. And then you're gonna add a couple teaspoons of vanilla extract. And now we're gonna do milk. I chose to use my almond milk, and you're just gonna put a ½ cup of almond milk or whatever milk of your choosing in, and then you're gonna whisk that all together. I got this little mini set for Christmas of all these pink utensils, and I never thought I'd use them, but I use them every single day. So this is my tiny pink whisk. So just gonna whisk that all up until it just is all blended. Yes, very easy. I'm gonna set that aside for a second, and you'll see I realized I forgot the salt. So I'm just gonna add the ½ teaspoon of salt in, and then I just mix that in, and then you're supposed to make a little well in the middle, which is kind of what I'm poorly doing here. And then you just dump it in, and then you're gonna mix it. And it stated in the recipe that you have to be very careful not to overmix. And I have noticed some batches that I've made, because I have made these a few times over the last couple months, ever since I started. I guess it's been about a month. Girl, I gotta stop making these. Gotta stop making them, but they're so good. And I always make sure to gift them when I make them, so I don't eat every single one. So yeah, just mix it together, and then you're just going to form it into little balls. I have found that it's much easier, because it is really sticky dough, to sprinkle a little bit of flour on top of the dough, so it adds a little bit to the outside when you pick up the little pieces to roll it. It makes it so much easier, because if you don't, it is going to be quite sticky, and it's hard to make them into little balls. So the first time I made them, they weren't as pretty. So I was able to make them that way. So then you're just gonna pop them in the air fryer. And I put it to the preset of baking, and then took it down to, I think, about 10 minutes. It really depends. When I made them today, I felt like they needed a little extra time, so it was in there for about 12 minutes. Now you're just gonna leave them to cool on a cooling rack for, I don't know, about 20 minutes before you dip them in the glaze. For some reason, I did not record making the glaze. I think it's because it was my second batch of making these. I made them, I tested them, they were awesome, so then I decided to film a second batch. Today I really just took like maybe 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, a couple tablespoons of almond milk, some vanilla, and a little bit of almond extract, plus cinnamon and pumpkin pie spice, and mix it together. And it was a lot less wasteful than using the entire recipe of glaze. So you really can cut it down or do it however you want to, but the amount in the recipe, if I can even speak, is enough for like 3 batches of these. No joke. I don't know why it's necessary to make so much, but I was able to. This is my only batch I made of the glaze for 2 batches, and it was more than enough. And that's it. We're done. I hope you enjoy them. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and share it if you could, because this helped me out so much. And please subscribe if you have not already. We upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday here on my channel, and more. And every Wednesday is Wellness Wednesday. It should be every Wednesday. I like to say that with like life happens. I almost didn't upload Wellness Wednesday today, but then I realized I had that footage, so I wanted to share it with you. And I just really think, no matter if you're going to make it lighter or not, just allow yourself to have the things you love in moderation. You know, you gotta live. You gotta live. And pumpkin donuts are worth it. I'm just saying. Oh, and before I go, I do want to say that I figured out the calorie count for these. It really depends on the size that you make them. I made them larger, so they are about the size of 2 donut holes. So the calorie count on these with the monk fruit sweeteners, I used both the brown sugar sweetener from monk fruit and the regular white sugar sweetener. So it made them about 94 calories each. That's making 20 donut holes from the recipe down below, which again, I did not come up with the recipe. All I did was take that recipe and change it slightly with the sweeteners. Of course, you can make them the regular size of a donut hole, and then they're going to be like 50 calories each, you know, just depends on how big you make them. Or you can make them huge and make them 200 calories each. Totally up to you. It's all on how you make them and what you use to substitute. Yeah, okay, I'm really going to stop rambling. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave your check-in down below, and I will be in the comments to chat with all of you if I can speak. Shannon needs a nap. I love you guys so much. I'll talk to you soon.